Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to the best YouTube channel on the planet. I gotta make you all day somehow. As you saw the video I done this morning, it I had a flood. Not bad. It's not the worst it's been, but it flooded. And my front yard, the west side, which I said the north side, but I put it in the comments and said it was the west side. I wasn't going to put my boots on and walk out in the backyard and show you the flood. And that's how it is up here in the country, people. Here where I live in Indiana. But that's part of country living. You people who lives out in the country, you know how septic tanks are, ladder lines, when there's snow. What happened? I froze. I cotton picking the internet, about to drive me a batty. You know, it's like I said, people, when it rains, especially where I live, and as much rain as we got, and wet as the ground is, with
Power off.
with the ladder lines, yes, I got my socks on, and you can't flush the toilet. You can flush it, then the water comes up so far, you hope it don't run over. That's the bad part about living out in the country on a septic tank. Like I say, I don't know that much about septic tanks, ladder lines. Hello, James. U7K, 4K, how you doing tonight? And it's weird. You know, like I said, I live in a hole in the ground, you could say. Those places in Scottsburg, it has flooded. Up around Seymour on Highway 50 and was it 3 and 7, something like it, is flooded. And, you know, it's bad. Hello, Justin. Hello, Stephen Tully. Welcome. And like I say, I wasn't on here last night. I decided to take it off. It was thunder and raining cats and dogs. And this is March. Where I live, what they call, I guess, tornado alley. Because I was worrying about tornadoes. And if I was on here, hello, Mexican, how you doing? Welcome, my friend, gracias. And if I was on YouTube last night, I couldn't watch the TV and listen to the weather reports. I couldn't listen to my other radios that I got in the kitchen and living room about the weather. Because, I was worrying about the tornadoes. Because like back in 17, somewhere like that, they had a tornado come through Hello, Tank. Hi, welcome, my friend. Came through Henryville, Indiana. Henryville is about the 19-mile marker of I-65 and got a school. Well, two churches right there by the Henryville High School, tornado didn't even get them. But the school, it took the school, turned over a few school buses, and took a little food store or restaurant store. I was wondering about the weather last night. And that's what I was concentrating on because, because if I had to, the only place where I can go, since I don't have a basement, is probably get in the bathtub. So I decided not to be on here last night because since we did have Indiana had bad weather, and Kentucky and probably a few other states, I was worrying about you all. And here's one thing I want to fuss about. Any people who live in Indiana, the stupid Republicans in Indiana and Indianapolis, I guess, passed a law last year, I guess, because I didn't know nothing about it until Tuesday. And like you people know, if you smoke, you got to show your ID at the dollar store. And Indiana said you have to be 21 to go into a smoke shop or buy lotto tickets, alcohol, this and that. When I went into the DC outlet, which they should have, hello, lip official, that I buy a big thing, a bucket of dip. I'm not going to show you the bucket because it's copyrighted, so I can't show you. They said, when your birthday? I said, I'm old enough to be your grandpa. I said, you got a sign on the door says you have to be 21. And the manager said it came along about sometime in February. It puts it about 3 weeks ago, or something like that. I don't agree with it. Because you tell somebody your birthday, and I know you all agree with me, that you got people standing around you, and you tell them the month, the day, and the year you was born. Somebody behind you probably going to write it down or got a good memory. That goes your ID. Your still identity. I don't like it. And I guarantee you, any Republicans But it's on the ticket, which I can't vote for him in May, but I'm going to vote for Democrats. When it comes to November, it's going to be Democrat. I ain't voting for those Republicans in Indianapolis that says I have to tell them how old I am. Hello, 709. A good video of, what was his name? Sherman? I damn forgot. I just watched it before I came live. Guy with a little hat on his head, and the other guy. Hello, Wendy. Yeah, Sherman. Welcome, Wendy. You welcome anytime. And, but people, why, they got a sign on the door, you smoke shops. It says you have to be 21. People, I'm 71 plus years. I went to the JC smoke shop. They asked me how old I am just to buy tobacco products. It sounds like to me, people, that the state of Indiana is trying to steal your ID, make you quit smoking or dipping or smoking cigars. I disagree with the state of Indiana. Hello, Rose. I don't agree with Indiana. Besides that, I think by law, they have to put a sign on the door. You must show ID to buy tobacco products. They didn't have it. It says on the door, you must be 21 to enter. People, I begin to hate Indiana. And it makes me mad. I'm going to complain about it. I'm going to complain to them donkeys in Indianapolis. And I don't agree with them. If I want to smoke, drink alcohol, or dip, it's my business. It's not their stupid business. If this happened here in Indiana, it's probably going to happen in your state, your country, See, they raised, what was it, last year, I think? They raised taxes on cigarettes, all tobacco products. But here's one thing that Indiana didn't do. People, I want you to really think about it. I know it, Joanne. I know it. That makes me mad. I thought they were going to throw me out of there. I say some things that was X-rated. And, that's stupid. 71 plus years and they ask you for your ID? It's stupid. I gotta look. Tuesday I spent $57 to get a renew on my plates. You get the little sticker to put on your plate. But here's the bad part about it, people. It cost me more than $57. They charged me $1.50 either $1.25 or $1.50 because I use my credit card. That, that should be included in your plates because everybody's going to pay with a credit card. Indiana is screwed up. Yeah, I shaved tonight because the foxy lady said, I need to shave. Well, I need to shave. I ain't going nowhere. Why should I shave? It's just me, my son, and my kitty cats. Why should I need to shave? I might want to grow some whiskers and look like Santa Claus. I'm watching a show on TV. I think it's the first time I watch it. I got to see, it's 9/11 Nashville. 9/11 Nashville. And I guess the fire chief or whatever is one of the guys that were on NCIS, LaSalle, or the one that got killed. Yeah, he was on with NCIS New Orleans, I think he played on. That's probably true. I got one. I got two. I've been having 4 to 5 cats in here all day. But Kathy, she decided to wake me up at 8 o'clock this morning. I tried to go back to sleep. She, how the kitty cats start fluffing you, She did with her nails out. And plus, when she smacks me up on my face, her nails was out. And those nails on kitty cats is like razor blades. I don't want to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning. I want to wake up 9, 10 o'clock, something like that. There's nothing to do. I love my kitty cats. I got Kathy in here, and I got Alexi in here. Lexi's mother is Alex. Sometimes if Alexi get close to her mother, Alex is hiss at her. And Margaret is Alexi and Kathy's mother and Alexi's grandmother. Grandmother's teaching her more and her own mother's doing. I hope it don't rain no more, but when I saw the weather report, it's supposed to rain some more. When it rains like it's been the past 2 days, any trash that's out there on I-65 gets in the creek, comes down the creek, behind my house, around the curve, underneath my road, underneath the main county road, and where it goes from there, I don't know. I did have, it was last year, in the creek, because I didn't want to get in the creek and get it. was a recap off of a 18-wheeler tar that was in the creek. I wasn't going to get that. That ain't my property. It's state of Indiana. I should have told them to come and get their cotton picking tar out of my creek, which they built. Let's see, I talked about the state of Indiana, what they've done to people who smoke. Like the dollar store, I can see their point. They ask you for your ID and they scan it. But any places now, they have to ask you for your ID. You know, a grocery store, a gas station. I don't think you should have to do that. Heck, if I look like I'm under 21, boy, it must be good. Does that mean I can get me a 19-year-old, 20-year-old girlfriend if I look like I'm under 21? About Tom, you shouldn't be lonely. You should have babies everywhere. I do got babies everywhere. Some that I'm too old for to have babies now. If I married a young girl, you know, at the age of they can carry babies without no problems, I'll probably die. Because my nerve cannot take a baby crying. My baby days is over. I don't want no more babies. I couldn't put up with them. Yeah, I never know. I never know. No, I don't need no more baby cats. Outside's okay. Outside baby cats okay. Because I got 5 inside cats right now. At one time I had 15 cats in the house. And all the female cats was in here. And all the tomcats was out there. Just to keep them from having babies. Then my tomcats all died because some of them was old. Some of the female cats died. And I don't want no more cats in here. I don't mind the outside cats because their mom was outside teaching them how to catch mice, birdies, moles, squirrels. They know how to survive outside. And that's what I like. I fed the outside cats some tuna fish tonight. They all not out there. 2 of the orange tomcats, they wasn't out there. Little Bit and little baby Blackie wasn't out there. They're probably out there now. LB was there. You know, usually in the wintertime, the tomcats usually takes off. See, was Tomcat out there this morning? I don't think Tomcat was out there. I usually watch on my cameras, you know, do something different. I didn't see Tomcat. Then there's another Tomcat. And I got a feeling he was born here. I don't know. Animals animals can survive. They know how to survive outside. It, even last night with it raining, that window on the east side. Oh, who is that? Is that Alex or is it Margaret? Turn around. It's Alex. That's your baby. You don't hiss at your baby. Do I have to tell your mama, Margaret, that you're treating your baby bad? Sometimes Alex and Alexi, they get along. They run through the house. They chase each other. And they get up here on the bed. They get along. Other time, Alex hisses at Alexi. And that's her own mama. But it's good. Yeah, country boy can survive. I only been a country boy, I guess, about 8 years. Yeah, 8 years. Let's see, it's 26. 8 years. I'm learning from my mistakes, people. You've been a city boy for 60 some odd years and got this house out in the country. I kind of like it out here where I live. It's quiet. Nobody comes and sees you. Even on a dead-end county road, nobody drives unless it's a FedEx or UPS ups. Hey Joanne, I do need to get me some kind of boat. Like I say, when I showed you all today of the flood, that's not bad. But it been so bad, you had about 6 inches in my yard. It was over the creek. It was up to this tree on the east side, over my road. That's how bad it gets sometimes. Country boy can survive. Country boy can survive. And country girls can survive too. Can't forget your ladies. No, that wouldn't be bad. I'm going to have to find me something. Maybe an inner tube? No, that'd be cold in the winter time. Get me some kind of cheap old boat. Or one I like to have, what they got in Hawaii, California. I think the Navy has it. It's like those airboats. You start it up and that raises up. You can float over everything. I like to have a small one if it's a 2-seater, 4-seater. That way I can float over the ground. I can float over the water. That would be nice. People, I don't know if you remember, since I'm 71 plus years old, that they had a car that you could drive on the road, that you could drive into the river. You seen a James Bond movie where James Bond would drive, get in the water. It had propellers on the back of it. I don't know if any of them still around. I know what I have to do, Joanne. Get me a wetsuit. That way you can keep warm. Because I watch that water when it comes down from the highway, the creek, and behind my yard. I mean, it runs fast. You know, it runs fast. I've been eating, I don't know what kind of meal. I used to see him when I was younger, but you don't see it anymore. I guess maybe the government said they're not safe. I don't know, but it's nice. But you know, March around here where I live in southern Indiana is Tornado Alley. And it's bad. Kentucky gets hit. We get hit here. And it's bad. Okay, what I've had for the last 2 days, you know, you buy those big, long, U-shaped sausage. You just cut them, put them in a frying pan with oil, some cooking oil, onions, you know, those green peppers or red peppers, and you cook it in there. I've been eating that for the past two days. I got smart since I got one of those beaters or whatever you call them. You know, push the button and it chops everything up. So I put those peppers in there. I cut them up, stick them in there, and made it real fine. Then I put my onions in there and cut that up real fine. Put it in there with the sausage. I think I got one more thing. I think I got some left. I'll probably go in there and have me a nap. You know, good snack. Yeah, grinder or whatever, chopper, or processor. You can even make milkshakes in there if you want to. But I'm out of ice cream until Saturday. Gonna get me some ice cream, 2 gallons. You know, used to go to, you know, food processor or something. And I only paid $2 for it at a yard sale. And used to, you know, go to Kroger's or JC store, Walmart. You used to get the big ice cream, what they call the party ice cream. Now you get the little 1 gallon container. I would have had the big one because that gives you more ice cream. I think maybe that party ice cream thing is maybe a gallon and a half, 2 gallons of ice cream. So comes the 7th of the month, I usually buy 2 gallons of chocolate ice cream. I love chocolate ice cream. I'm going to have to get me a new ice cream scooper. Instead of this old plastic one that my mom had, and I had a metal one. My a-hole brother didn't give it to me. And I guess you just push the button on it, the ice cream comes out of the scoop. I hate to spend that $5 or whatever it costs to get it. Been washing dishes. A little water like that is not going to hurt. But the way my backyard looks, it's going to take, well, if it don't rain anymore and the creek goes down, if it don't rain anymore tonight, well, the ground is so full of water, it might take a few days for the water in my yard to go down. Because with all that snow we had, then it rained, and it been raining and raining. You're gonna have to cook the possum outside. I don't know. I kind of like a possum, from a distance. I can tap on the window when I see a possum on my porch. They won't run. Them possums won't run. I can go out there and talk to them. They open their mouth like they're hissing at me. So, there was a baby possum out there last week. I don't know where it is. I could pet it. He let me pet it, pick it up by the tail, pick him up, put him on the bed, show him where the hot dogs was. But he hasn't been back. Maybe that was his mother or father that showed. That baby possum that showed up last week, he was pretty nice. He didn't really hiss at me like the big ones does. Show me his teeth, but I pet him. I went real slow because I didn't know how fast if they turn around and bite me or what. But I pet him and the tail. Man, they're rough. Their skin is rough. You ever pet a possum? A hairless kitty cat or a hairless mouse. Their teeth, they're enough to scare you because they open their mouth. They look like if they was to bite you, they would bite your fingers off or bite your hand off. I don't know that much about possums. Like raccoons, when I lived in the city before I moved here, They was friendly. They would jump up on my lap. I could pet them. If I sit on the porch, they'd come up, grab my ankle, and scare the daylights out of me. Then they'd sit on the back leg and act like, come on, it's time to go get the feed. So I go get some feed and some milk and water. And they were, city raccoons, I guess, is different from country raccoons. I guess the country raccoons don't get to eat that many people. I haven't seen any skunks. To have a pet raccoon, people, you had to get them when they're little babies. Little babies. But when I was taking care of my mom, had this one raccoon. He was lovable and fat. And he was sleeping in the garage. I had one car in there. He would get in there and sleep with the cats. He loved my kitty cats. He was a protector of my kitty cats. And that a-hole neighbor next door to me, their dog came over, getting on my cats. That raccoon chased that little doggy back home. But one of the neighbors called the dog catcher where I was living. She's always in bed by 8, 9 o'clock. And it didn't get in anybody's garbage. It was a pet. I could pick it up, carry it around, take it in the house. That's how friendly he was. And you people say, you got your windows open and you laying in the bed, you hear like a bunch of dogs growling. If you look outside, it might be some raccoons, because when the raccoons sound like dogs when they're growling. That's one I found out. My experience is they sound like dogs when they're growling. I was feeding that one raccoon at Mom's house, put some cat food out there and some milk in a Cool Whip bowl. It would take the Cool Whip bowl, take it in the garage, get up on the bench, and put her up there in the attic in the garage, right there by the bench. And every morning, I said, well, no milk bowl. I go there, get on the bench, and that raccoon always put it in the same place. And then, I don't know how long after that, I saw Mama Raccoon with her babies. I tapped on the window. Mama took off with the babies. I had one of those big, large plastic cups that you get at fast food with cat food. I opened the door. Ouch! And I shake it. The baby raccoons turned around and came running. And like you could hear Mama raising that cane about her babies. I said, hold on, babies, hold on. Don't come running that fast. I put it down and I went in the house and looked out. Then Mama showed up. But man, them raccoons are fast on their feet. I guess maybe 30 feet away when I shook the cup with cat food in it. But I'm not like people. If you want to learn about raccoons, go on YouTube at Raccoon Whisperer, James Blackwood up there in Canada. He's been on YouTube for years with his raccoons. Him and his wife can tell you every name of those raccoons. It started out just mommy and daddy, then the babies, then grandpa, grandma, and their baby, probably 30 raccoons. I like skunks. They make good pets. As long as you don't make them mad and raise their tail up. I remember that's when I lived up in government housing. I was walking, saw a baby skunk. Somehow got his head in some kind of plastic cup. I said, oh, Lordy. I love my animals, but is it going to squirt me? I said, hold on, Skunky. I reached down and grabbed hold of the plastic thing. He got his head out of it. And I said, oh, Lord, please don't spray me. And that skunk walked away a little bit, and turned around like, thank you, sir, and walked away. But I did get to pet him while I was trying to take it off of his head, or her head. I wasn't going to look to find out if it was a he or she skunk. But I like skunks. I will, but there's ain't no skunks around here, even on roadkill. The only thing you see on the highway and the country roads where I live is possums, raccoons, maybe deer, groundhog. I don't think I've seen a groundhog get hit. But it's mostly possums and raccoons gets hit. Since it's warm outside, yeah, they love cookies. Oh, skunks eat honey buns. But raccoons likes hot dogs, marshmallows, and cookies. What? What do you want, Margaret? Hello, Alex. I see you and your sisters up there on the bed. Where's your mama? Where's your mother, Margaret? It's time to get me some honey buns. I guess maybe Saturday I might get me some honey buns. I don't know if my son has to go pick his medicine up tomorrow or what. Usually he has to pick up medicine on Friday, but he hasn't said nothing. What am I watching on TV? I don't like it. Oh, Grey Anomaly or Tomany. No, I don't like this. Okay, I'm hoping we have better weather. Thank you all. Thank you, Joanne. Also, people, I forgot to say it at the beginning of it. Thank a nurse for their service. It takes a very special person to be a nurse in a hospital, in the ER, ICU, critical care, burn unit. It takes a very special person to be a nurse. Next time you go visit somebody in the hospital, thank a nurse for their service. Every time I go to the doctor, I thank the nurse that comes in and takes my blood pressure and stick a little thing on my finger. I said, thank you for your service. I don't know, they're calling for more rain this week. Today's only Thursday. They're calling for more rain. Like I say, my driveway gets a little wet, but when I get up to the highway, it kind of floods over the highway. I don't know if you all remember it, but the state and county used to clean the ditches out. And they don't do that anymore. They used to clean the creeks out. I remember they used to take bulldozers and clean the creek out. They don't do that anymore. State of Indiana don't clean the ditches out along the highway. The county don't do it no more. That's how come we're here in Indiana. It might be other states out. Why you gotta use your claws when you push on? I guess they have the same problems in other states. I would say. If they would clean the ditches out along the highways and the interstate and clean the pipes out that's underneath the highway and interstate, it might not flood too bad. That's my opinion and my age. Because I remember when I was young people, we didn't have this problem with flooding like we do now because the county and the state and the cities keep the ditch line clean out and keep the pipes clean out. And now they don't give a crap. But I also want to thank everybody. Happy birthday. Happy anniversary. And thank you all that give me the thumbs up. Thank you all that have subscribed. We a YouTube family. No matter it's your channel, you got your YouTube family. So I want to thank you all. Put your faith in the God. And if you see, Foxy Lady, I saved. So I love you all. God don't give up on you. God has still got his hands out for you and reaching for you. Don't you all give up on God. I love you all. Good night from wherever you're watching from. And thank you all. And some of you all that watch the videos, if you subscribe to me when you're watching it on the replay, it would be okay. So I love you all. God loves you. Everybody loves you all. You all be good. Treat everybody nice. Be kind, polite. Thank a nurse for their service. Good night, my friends.